Robert Venturi noted that the industrial age sparked a new way of designing space and that the iconography of the information age was doing the same. Today's social settings are not only defined by space but also defined by networks of exchange and interaction. We are witnessing a rise of a new type of infrastructure in the city. This infrastructure is not human centric, it belongs to the machines. The public domain 2.0. The public domain online neither has a fixed identity nor is it limited to physical proximity. The digital domain has emerged not merely as a means of transmitting information, but as a major new theatre for public activities at levels ranging from local to global. Communities are migrating from actual physical spaces to spaces of digital networking. Since the arrival of social media, the relevance of physical public space is questioned. Machine landscapes. The digital technology has been neutralizing place and materiality. However, big data management itself also requires a physical infrastructure and an architecture. Every digital platform requires a physical establishment to exist. It is an atlas of sites, architecture, infrastructures that are not built for us, but whose form, materiality, and purpose is configured to anticipate the patterns of machine vision and habitation rather than our own. Digital space and physical space. Architecture, technology, and the market continuously evolve and shape the way in which we live, sometimes challenging the traditional ways of life. In the domestic realm itself, the arrival of electronic space is changing the social settings of a household. Similarly, employees working together remotely from all around the world is becoming the norm. The space we live in expands and is also inescapably fragmented while a new infrastructure connects the pieces. Kloskop's design defines the phenomenon of digital revolution as a fusion of technologies that blurs the lines between the physical, digital, and biological spheres. Digital urbanism. Digital urbanism is a phenomenon external to architecture which is harnessed as a means of transforming it. In the era of the post Anthropocene, the structure of existing human centric programs is changing. Public buildings are changing their roles, and yet there is no imagination for a new typology for these buildings. Technology brings forth new products and services while making existing products obsolete and outdated due to the emergence of faster communication. Digital narratives. The city of Mumbai has been working on a set of existing functions while new functions are also being added to it. The BMC has been concentrating on the segment that deals with citizen oriented online services to trigger off the first phase of its digital implementation. The basic role of providing administration and governance to the city is played by the Brihan Mumbai Municipal Corporation or the BMC. Its administration is spread over 6 zones and 25 wards in Mumbai. Mumbai's free information kiosks give access to email, e-banking, e-greetings, forecasts, exam results, railway inquiry, Mumbai Guide, movies, restaurants, news, health, education, and more. In addition, one can also get information about taxes, bus routes, rail routes, and fares. These kiosks are located at various junctions within the city. The BMC has been on Twitter as at the rate disaster MGMT BMC as of June 2019. The handle is supposed to be actively addressing citizen grievances. People can report water leaks, tree branches dangling, garbage on streets, or potholes on this Twitter handle. The potholes tracking software. Digital maps are helping shape the environment. The office is running a web portal called mybmcpotholefixit.com. Residents of the wards can complain online to the road engineers. This software creates digital maps of various potholes reported in progress and fixed across Mumbai. The meaning of citizenry. Urban residents are considered as data subjects. Our participation in cities is both the product of data and the producer of data. The digital revolution finally will not only change what we do but also who we are. It will affect our sense of privacy, our notions of ownership, our consumption patterns, the time we devote to work and leisure, and how we cultivate our skills, nurture relationships. The list is endless. A new typology. Buildings have predominantly been designed to house a specific movement of the human body. However, with human activity no longer being the center of the programs, built environment will change in terms of what they are. With every possible function available at the convenience of our screens, what will be the relevance of these existing government buildings? The new typology of public buildings must prove capable of embracing a world of constant change, subjecting its structures to the levels of transparency and efficiency that will enable them to endure changes. Case studies. The Media Lab Prado is an art center in Madrid, a flexible structure behind the concrete walls of an old industrial building. The building functions as a research laboratory and exhibition space for Media Lab Prado, a city funded organization exploring the production and dissemination of art and digital culture. La Cosa, or the Thing, is the name that architects have used to refer to the group of mechanisms, installations, and facilities that, when assembled, made it possible to bring the building up to date with current requirements. These forms of coexistence created the scope for some of the strategies used in this adaptation. The appropriation of the existing building as a container for latent energies that have joined the project as an effective material, the non-specific treatment of the spaces. This condition resulted in a homogeneous approach to material solutions and the uniform distribution of installations. Thinking about the action as a stratification with different levels of change over time, lightweight construction systems that can be disassembled were chosen as were materials whose durability and adaptability will not condition future transformations. Looking at each new intervention as an opportunity to incorporate support systems for creative actions and research. This includes this included solutions such as the use of double blinds as projection screens, taking advantage of voids in the existing structure to create a retroprojected floor, the use of the dividing wall as a digital facade, and the design of La Cosa as a mechanism for digital experimentation. The Media TIC building in Barcelona is an information and communication technology hub. This building is designed with a net like steel structure, avoiding columns on the ground floor and thus introducing a large open public space to the building. As Media TIC is a commercial building, its physical adaptations can be observed by a large number of people both inside and from the street. The architect made technology a central part of its design. The design has been described as performative architecture, where the structure itself performs other functions. This 8-story building is separated into three zones of varying density. It is creating a new model that will promote collaboration and synergies between the university, technology, and business, with the aim of encouraging the development of an innovative culture. This project is the transformation of the existing Banyan Garage, a car devoted building from the 70s. The Banyan Hub offers in a single building a wide range of different programs. It is conceived to be a unique landmark, not only for its flexible and hybrid design but also for representing an approach to sustainable architecture. The bioclimatic functioning of the building includes responsive facades, ventilation courtyards, passive ventilation, and active renewable energy systems. The public building. The thesis aims at imagining a new architectural typology for the Mumbai ward offices. While other building typologies may cease to exist as a result of the digital revolution, government institutions must continue to evolve its physical form. Their design should adopt architectural systems that are actual catalysts for every kind of activity or function, independent of the form that they may take. The goal of this project is to develop a series of conceptual strategies aimed at establishing conditions for new urban events. This new architecture should be based on intersection and superimposition of technology and community rather than segregation. The architecture of these buildings will no longer serve isolated functions, they will be designed to extend and redefine their roles. The juxtaposition of digital technology, scale, and the public in contemporary culture belongs to the logic of a new urban society. The concept of this urban generator will not only allow for spatial links with the existing city but will also encourage unpredictable programmatic developments that will inevitably appear in the coming decades. In order to create an architecture for a governing system that is more flexible and accommodating, and to reimagine the nature of public interaction and participation, it becomes important to root the analysis into the everyday. We begin by decomposing the overall program into its main constituent elements and aligning it with the new digital services. Following are the different departments within the ward administration. Program and strategies. Conference spaces. Public and private spaces designated to hold meetings and discussions. These spaces are multi-purpose in nature to enable spontaneous discussions and passive participation. Data lab and workshops. A space where anyone could engage in workshops for understanding data and e-education. It is an experimental space to produce and disseminate information. These programs are important for those groups who are either deprived of technological access or senior citizens who find it difficult to cope up with the digital manifestation of services. It also offers free hardware and software tools for mapping, modeling, and graphical experimentation. Video viewing rooms. A large number of city data is being collected every day. This data should be transparent. It includes traffic updates, weather reports, potholes, tracking, and more. Participatory planning. Digital technology makes it easier to include public participation in the planning of a city. This public participation should reflect in the design of planning offices. The physical offices should not be isolated from public activities. Flexible spaces. Department offices are slowly going online. However, we often see a sudden rise of human activities in certain departments. For example, the public health department in the Mumbai ward offices experienced high human traffic due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Likewise, the sewage and maintenance department experiences the same every monsoon. Flexible public interfaces accommodate the rise and fall of population within the ward building. They also become possible spaces to hold public events in the future. The prototype. The thesis aims at designing a system that can be a vessel for the ever changing trends in societies. A prototype with key elements is designed to meet these requirements. The street. To enable people to unintentionally engage with the building, a thoroughfare street is designed as an important part of the ground plane. The street brings with it the hustle and chaos of the city. It gives opportunity for everyday public activities to grow and expand as a part of the building. A service code will maintain the primary circulation in the building and provide the building with all its bare minimum requirements. The archival. In government systems, all digital data is preserved in its original physical form as well. This data ranges from large-scale city plans to birth or death certificates. At present, the ward offices are becoming inefficient warehouses for this storage of data. An archival zone, along with department offices, is designed to accommodate this data and to possibly increase its scale in the future. Public platforms. These are the transient elements of the building that enable it to constantly evolve. These platforms do not have rigid functions, they act as an important public interface to the building. Structure. A structural system with steel columns and long span beams is used to provide the building with its flexible architecture. Shell. The building is enclosed by a veil-like system to blur the lines between the indoor spaces and outdoor spaces. This opens up the building into an urban park and it eliminates the feeling of isolation. The prototype as a building. The elements of this prototype get transformed into different buildings based on different site conditions. The six, the six elements form different structure in 5 different wards. The B ward. An axis created across the building that connects two streets and it's further divided into two archival zones. And the cores are connected to one another through the public platforms. In the C ward, a zigzag street connects the main road of the to the back alley at the C ward. The building is set at the back end of the plot and therefore leaving the front end open for public activities to merge and grow within the site. The F North ward. This building is placed perpendicular to the two streets that it connects, leaving the rest of the plot for further expansion of public activities. The P South ward. This building is in an L formation, hence the public platforms are facing inwards while the archival zones are facing towards the street to prevent isolation. The D ward. The D ward office in Mumbai is located near the Grant Road railway station. It covers a total area of 1.7 kilometers square. The site is set along 5 intersecting roads. The building is designed along an existing thoroughfare street. The archival zone is designed as a long strip at the back of the plot, and the front end of the building is open for public functions. The elevation of the building is further staggered to enhance the quality of natural light that enters into the building. The D-wall building is further designed in detail. Along with the pedestrian street, the ground level has vehicular entrances and exits to allow basement parking. This level mainly has public functions like the cafeteria, parks, informal waiting areas, and so on. The ground level acts as the first public interface of the building. It is also an open green space for the city, hence, the ground plane is opened up for larger public activities. The first floor is particularly designed for the people working at the office on a daily basis. It has locker rooms and dressing rooms to accommodate the staff. The second floor has the citizen facilitation centers and the participatory planning offices. The CFC, or the citizen facilitation centers, plays an important role in enabling the citizens to adapt to the new digital services. Senior citizens, outstation students, and foreigners frequently visit the CFC. While the storage and department offices are enclosed by walls, the public interaction happens in indoor public platforms. These large columnless platforms are suspended from long span beams using steel cables. These platforms are important secondary extensions to the building. They do not have rigid programs and can be used as per the varying needs of the building. An informal circulation is designed along the front elevation. This alternative circulation connects the public platforms. It also becomes a part of the building facade. The back side, or the north facade of the building, has large openings. These openings allow pleasant natural light to flood the building. The openings are strategically planned to accommodate a rise in demand for space. Open conference spaces are created Open conference spaces are created within the platforms. These spaces are separated due to difference in levels. However, the public conferences are visually accessible throughout the building. The fifth and the sixth floors have department offices. The public platforms on the last two floors are designed to be transient in nature. The levels of these platforms can be altered as per the different events of the city. The south facade of the building is made of an inclined mesh. This is a green mesh that allows vegetation to grow over the entire facade. Due to the thick vegetation that grows on this facade, the light that enters the building is diffused. It also visually opens up the building to the city. The green facade creates an almost outdoor-like experience within the city. It helps in extending the urban park vertically throughout the building. Planters are built using RCC putties along the north facade of the building. The planters provide an alternative to the standard parapet wall. The east facade of the building, which directly faces the main road, is enclosed using a frosted glass curtain wall. It creates a sense of transparency from within the building. The section CC dash cuts through the green facade, therefore, we see it partly in elevation and partly in section. The section demonstrates how the public platforms in the buildings engage with one another, thus seamlessly connecting various events. The building becomes an active urban park along with its inherent programs. The first view is taken at the conference space. It is an amphitheater like space and is designed to encourage participation and inclusivity. The second view is taken along the corridor where you see the harmony of the variety of activities happening at different levels. The third view shows the active public life on the ground plane. The structural system is a combination of RCC and steel construction. The exploded axonometric drawing explains how the entire building is structured. It focuses on details like the roof detail, long span beam detail, wall section, transient slab detail, steel column foundation, and the green facade detail. Roof detail. The inclined aluminium mesh of the green facade continues to be a part of the roof. The rest of the roofing is done using tongue and groove particle board decking. Long span beam. The long span beams are connected to the RCC columns using anchor rods. Transient slab detail. A pulley is a wheel on an axle or a shaft that is designed to support vertical movement. It has grooved rim along which a steel cord passes. It changes the direction of the force that is applied to the cord. This system is mostly used to lift heavy objects. This system here is used for the transient slabs to provide the flexibility of vertical movement. By using a combination of multiple pulleys, the load is reduced and the movement becomes effortless. These pulleys are placed between two C-section beams which are suspended from the larger steel structure. Steel slab detail. Steel column and foundation detail. Green facade detail. The entire green facade is supported by an inclined steel framework that also acts as a buttress to the rest of the building. This facade is lined with steel C-section gutters that act as downtake channels for rainwater. My aim in this thesis is to establish the concept of the urban generator throughout the ward building. The architecture of this building allows new spatial links to form within the city. The flexible nature of the building can meet the unpredictable patterns of the future societies. The three key words that focuses on the design of the buildings are public, transient, and an urban catalyst. Thank you.